going on, y'all? It's your boy J.H. Givens here.
And we'll see.
Welcome to another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 113. If you are listening to us, it means you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, and we thank you so much for listening. If you are watching our beautiful smiling faces, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the recording of the Achromous Podcast, I need you to do these three things because you're on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You see, the next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed, when you refresh that page, the Achromous Podcast episode will be sitting there waiting for you to take these gems and apply it to your life. And most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do so.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. It's going to cause you nothing but time, effort, and consistency of investing into you. It's not very often you can say that, but we love being able to do that. So I'll remind Jay and everyone each and every single week to do those things. Just like our content, subscribe to it, turn on that notification bell, and also share it if you can, because each one teach one is our motto. And we're here to make sure that you know your worth, that you're so damn worth it, because we know that you matter. So now you're going to know too.
Amen to that. We'll see. What a week it has been, guys. I know we say this every single week, but of course, we all go through so many things each and every week. And I hope this past week, after you heard episode 112, that you were able to bet on yourself. You're able to put yourself first over others that may have doubted you along the way. You're able to get back towards your purpose, to understand what that might look like for you, for your family, for your entire being. And I hope that you guys took action. If you didn't take action, I hope you at least heard the call to action at the end of the episode when we did ask, how does life look like for you when you've been betting on yourself? And it just so happens we'll see that, and again, we want to thank you for sending any of the comments or replies that you sent to us for that question. But there was a great answer that I did receive. We'll see. It was on Snapchat. It was just from the clip that we shared. And Michael Bloomer of Maryland decided that he wanted to answer this question. And he said, quite frankly, his kids, in his life growing up, it wasn't the best for him. It wasn't the worst either, but he wanted to make sure that his kids never wanted or needed for everything. He wanted to be able to make sure that he provided for them, and the love that it takes to give his kids anything and everything is powerful. And he had to kind of go out on a limb and bet on himself, because at the time he wasn't prepared, wasn't in the right state of mind. He wasn't fully ready for it. But because of the past, because of the purpose, because he knows exactly where he wants to be, where he wants his kids to be, he's willing to sacrifice everything. So that's what he has done, and that's what he's still doing. And for the sake of his children, he's made the right decision. We'll see. So, and I know it's something that you can relate to as well. So I wanted to share that story, and I thank you, Michael Bloomer, and anybody else who has been a part of our community and is growing with our community. We thank you for joining. We thank you for being a part of it, and we hope that you continue to support in any way, shape, or form that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally relatable for myself. Having my own little sprouts and just knowing that I give 110% in everything I do because of them, and knowing that I'm trying to build a legacy, something that they can be proud of, and have the value of knowing their worth. So what we're doing now is just as important as anything I can ever do in my life. So I totally relate to that, and we thank you for sharing your story out there, Michael. Really appreciate it. And hopefully, this inspires others to just share your story with us too as we go along on this journey. Each one teach one is our motto. Again, we're learning. We're not the ones out here just giving the gems. We are also receiving it and spreading it around too in our community. So yeah, I really dug that feedback, and we hope that you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, 100%. And it's great to know that there are like-minded people out there in our community who are also looking to build. They're looking to find their purpose. They're making sure that they're making their imprint in the world in some way, shape, or form, whether that is through themselves or through their loved ones, like their children or family members, spouses, whatever the case may be. And I think now more than ever in the business world, it is very, very important to get out there. We'll see. I think the internet, I don't think it'll ever run out of space, right? I mean, there's Web 3.0 that's coming. There's going to just be more opportunities to connect online, even if we are more disconnected offline, that's a whole other episode in of itself. But I think in terms of business, we'll see. I know a lot of people who might be listening or who have thought about going into entrepreneurship. Number one, it's hard. I have no idea why you would want to do something like this. It's thankless sometimes. There's a lot of sleepless nights. Yet you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But I think it's when you're so deep in your purpose, I guess none of that truly matters, huh? So I think when it comes to business, though, it's very important that even if you do have something online, that you have some sort of offline imprint that you're leaving in our society. Who knows what's going to happen to the internet in the future? Who knows what's going to happen to your page in the future? Just like that, you can get banned, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Instantly, you can get banned, especially if your entire existence, your business, your livelihood is online. Just imagine if you're a person that has 1.2 million followers, you're getting, 30, 40, $50,000 per sponsored post, and then all of a sudden you're banned for whatever
Mm,
reason. Somebody out there in the programming sphere of these social media companies decided that whatever you said they personally didn't agree with, or they found a way to make sure that you violated something, some arbitrary rule that nobody has ever heard of, and now your livelihood is completely gone. It's ruined because everything that was connected to your income was online, was on that IG page, was on that YouTube page, was on that Facebook page. So you're starting to see why it's important that you need to have a footprint that's also offline. Because believe it or not, guys, people do exist in real life outside of this phone here, outside of this camera, outside of this laptop. There are people outside, and it's important, especially if you're in business, that you go forth to connect with them. And even with our journey, we'll see when it came to this whole entrepreneurship thing, even before Achromous, even before Apex Elevated, we always had the idea of bringing a community together. And it did not have to mean that it was just online, right? I know we talked about video chat in the past, but it was also offline, right? Whether we're doing in-person personal training sessions, or we're doing in-person ladder drills, we're creating content that we can also use in person. All of that still helps because people need to understand how you exist outside of the camera, outside of the laptop, whatever you're using to connect with your audience. People want to know you. People want to understand you. So at the beginning with Achromous, everything was digital, right? I mean, the podcast that we have here, our website, achromousfitness.com. Even before then, it was Apex Elevated, with our website as well. And then before that, it was VidiChat. So I feel as though we'll see, and I'm sure a lot of businesses get this way too, but I think now we are at a stage where we can take this community offline and do something else rather than just being online and existing online. We can broaden our horizon, connect with people that may be able to connect with us and allow us to grow in this whole podcast sphere, in this whole personal development and self-help industry. So the future of Achromous looks bright. For me, whether it's, going and volunteering out in person, different networking activities, I think that would be the first thing I would advise people to do. We'll see. Especially if you are in an online business and you're running an online business, make sure that your network is also offline. It doesn't just have to be on LinkedIn or one of these other social sites. Just go to any events that are in your industry, whether it's an expo or a trade show or just an evening out on the town where there are a bunch of people who think like you and work like you and are in the same industry, can all connect. You don't know exactly who you're going to connect with. It's so much different to connect with one person that will propel you to greatness rather than 300 or 400 digital followers. Half of them might be bots. You see what I'm saying? There's
mhm.
so much value in being able to connect with somebody in person, right? You can have a better conversation. You can touch and feel his shoulder, right? Oh man, it's good to see you. Oh, you're into this. Oh, you do this, right? There's so much more organic doing it offline than it is online. So why not do the same for your business, right? If you're in the let's say you're in a personal development business, right? Start going to seminars, start working alongside other people who might be performance coaches or life coaches that will allow themselves to give you a lot of the gems that we're probably giving you now because they've been there and done those things. So just make sure that you're networking. We'll see. Make sure that you're out there. You're pounding pavement every day. Um, Volunteering and giving back is a big one as well. And I think when it comes to volunteering, I'm thinking, soup kitchens or feeding the homeless or picking up trash. All of these things kind of go along with networking, even if you're partnering with somebody else, if you're partnering with another company, all those conversations happen in person. Yes, they may start online when you're just meeting out, you might answer an email, but eventually it gets to meeting in person. That's when you get the opportunity to know your partners better, know any of the people in your industry, but even your competitors. You have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about them when you do this in person. So that's pretty much what I want to say there. We'll see is that if you are looking to venture offline from your online business, just make sure you get into networking, make sure you volunteer, partner with different companies, different businesses, different people that might be able to propel you up because you guys share the same dreams. Turn your digital products as well into physical products. If you have an ebook like the 21-3 method, which is available on achromousfitness.com, you can take that and turn that into an actual physical book, whether it's hardcover or paperback, and you can distribute that as well, so that somebody now has something to feel rather than having to scroll through a screen and read a book. It's just a much different feel when you are interacting with somebody's product or service rather than hearing about it, reading about it, or learning about it digitally. And then sponsoring events, just continuing to get out there, let a lot of people out there in your community know your name first. News will spread once your business starts growing locally, and then you just keep building and building and building. If you think about companies like Walmart, like Apple, like Amazon, all of these businesses, even PayPal back in the day, they started in a bedroom, one started in a garage, one started on a farm. They all start in one location, they build out and they grow into multi-billion dollar businesses. So guys, that's what I have to say. We'll see. I know you've been a part of this journey as well. Going through this for the past, man, I think it's half a decade now, at least over that, since we've been on this crazy journey of really trying to figure all of this out when it comes to giving back to our community. And I know we've been able to have some really great interactions with some of our guests, even offline and outside of being, digital. And I personally believe that going the offline route, even if we still have the online route there, it allows us to reach an audience a little bit deeper. It allows us to connect with our customers, our clients, our listeners much deeper than it would on a digital device.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it any better than myself, honestly. I think it's just allowing yourself to evolve, if you will, to just kind of take that extra step, that extra mile to do things in a way that society nowadays will tell you won't work, because everything is too digital, is too is formal, without enough in person, that thing that makes us human. We don't, I feel like a lot of the times that's what's missing. A lot of things we do are extremely generic, very robotic in our methods, and that's maybe according to how the times are. But I do still believe in the good old fashioned, just kind of hand to hand and just kind of working together through one common goal, the camaraderie of getting to know someone, like you said, networking in that way, and building foundations that's long standing, for generations to come. This is, how you build on it, and partnering, and just seeing what the vision is, right? Ultimately. And if you see what your visions is, and that you're trying to accomplish, you're going to take the steps that you need to take, however you need to take them to get there. And this is one part of it that a lot of people stray away from, is, like you said, going to some of these expos or maybe going to some of these seminars and just kind of taking the ability to learn from someone else, and I think even more so ask questions, right? Because I think everyone kind of comes into their sphere or their line of work and feel as though they know best and they got it all figured out, and no one kind of wants to partner up or work together because maybe in some ways it's that crab pot mentality. Kind of feel like you don't want someone to get more ahead of you than them, but in truth, we all need each other, man. We all need each other to help build a bridge so that everyone can cross at some point in time, especially if your visions align for what you're trying to accomplish. You may need to go down two different roads, but that bridge to get across is driving a driving force in one way. So it's really important to lock in, maybe take some notes and some pros and cons of what you're doing now, and just looking for those additional methods of how you can elevate your craft, elevate your game, elevate your business, elevate your brand to be long standing. And you're gonna think about the ways that how you could do it. What you need to do to execute it, who you need to bring onto your team is going to be a part of the vision, to see the vision, because sometimes you got to look at where you are, and if it's stagnant, maybe you got to look at the teams around you, how you can build with that, pay attention to those who are supportive and that's a part of the journey, and being a part of your community if you can. It's an excellent way of like really kind of building a foundation, a base for yourself, outside of social media, because as you said, Jay, I think is which is true. For if you have yourself a pretty, by today's measures and standards, if you have yourself an account, and have yourself a pretty amassed following and whatnot, it doesn't take much for you to get that banned and lose content and lose
Mhm.
all of that information and all of what you did. You got to start over to begin with. And who really wants to do that, man? To have to go through that grind again. I mean, you'll do it if you have to, but the truth of the matter is, the second go round is probably gonna be a lot harder,
Mhm.
digitally speaking. So if you can kind of make an imprint of who you are and what your brand is and what you stand for, and you kind of build a base in your backyard, so to speak, that makes a huge difference. And don't want to sugarcoat it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy process where you're just going to walk to some doors and just have it open for you. You can get doors shut in your face. You're going to get people who are just not going to want to work with you. You're going to get people that's going to feel however they feel because of the strides that they had to make. But you don't allow yourself to be deterred from that. You go to the path of least resistance. The path is for you. You ride the waves of life, and the experiences is what you're building on, so that you learn from what you're growing through, and you can ultimately make better decisions to just land where you're supposed to be. And with time, with patience and dedication and commitment, you're gonna get to where you desire to go with time. Now I think the expectation has to be set on the measure of what's realistic too, in fairness,
Yeah.
so that you can really be self-aware of where you are. And the beautiful part about it is knowing that there's no limit to where you could go. You just have to take proper planning. In some cases, some people are accelerated to the moon. Some people gotta crawl inch by inch, step by step. And that's the frustrating part, right, guys? Like that part right there. It's so damn frustrating. But
Yeah.
uh I firmly believe the experience that you get from it, it can't be matched, because you've turned yourself into such an asset just from those sort of encounters in life, and the strives for the trials and tribulations you put yourself through to get to where you're trying to go, especially if you're a business. Think about the mom and pop shops that are out there. Your favorite local place to go eat at spot. Imagine what they had to do to get to a point to even build that foundation to have that spot, right? So
Mhm.
like a lot of times we like to support these bigger brands and stuff like that, but we forget about the little guy. And those are the ones who are the pioneers, in my opinion, that's putting the communities on their back.
Mhm.
And I think we need to give them more love and support. If you said that you really appreciate what they have to offer, because when you don't do it, we see what happens. We saw what happened with COVID. We saw how a lot of
Yeah.
those places got shut down because of it. So this is why it's just as important to be a part of your community and to be out there in the mix, outside of just being utilizing the digital platform. That is, I think, is a beautiful gateway that we have now in its infancy stage, truthfully, because it's still all new. That we're going to continue to see grow and develop, but we don't want to lose sense of those key components, that really kind of helps to mold and create that craft and those experiences, and to build those connections along the way, Jay. So, I think, as you said, I'm in complete agreement with you about the importance of offline brand building and, recognizing the tool set that you need to develop so that you can be confident in doing that, because you got a lot of people who will go and be digitally great, but then in person, they're a shell of themselves. And
Yeah.
why is that? Because they're lacking people skills. They're lacking interperson relationships and depth. And this is the part of it that I'm very worried about people for us to not lose. So just reflect on that, on that. What was the mention from both of us? What you think about that. Let us know your thoughts on it too. Because each one teach one. We're all here to learn and grow. So we're dropping gems, and gems are gonna just fall everywhere. But ultimately, this is an episode where we're all looking to take advice and grow from.
100% will see that was perfectly said. I mean, so many great reasons as to why it's important to build offline and how you could actually do it. And quite frankly, we'll see you can't. Speaking of online, you can't find these answers online. You can't find them on Google. You can't find them on any other search engine because they are based on experience. Look, we're still growing. We're still building online and offline. It's where we are. And I think it's important to have perspective, right? Where we were 112 episodes ago is not where we are now. And where we will be in 113 episodes from now, it's not where we are right now. So we're going to keep building, we'll keep growing, and we'll do it together. And speaking of doing together, we want to turn it over to you now. Have you built your business offline? If so, how? This is a shout out to all entrepreneurs, calling you guys out. Let us know exactly how you've been able to do it, so that you can give us some feedback. You can allow us to build through what you are talking about. The best response that we do receive will be featured on the next episode of your Achromous Podcast, as well as a YouTube short. But not only that, we'll see, as I mentioned last week, one lucky winner of this will be able to get 50% off of anything in the Achromous Fitness store. So it's important that we continue to build as a community, guys. It's important that besides being online and being able to interact like this, that we're able to also do it offline as well. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys offline at some point in the very near future, where we can connect and we can continue to build as we have been, because you guys all matter. Man, what an episode. We'll see. I think this was great for anybody who either is an entrepreneur now or wants to become an entrepreneur. It's something to think about, especially if you're struggling financially to build your business. I know a lot of us are right now because we're going the sweat equity route rather than putting out a business loan or something. So it's important for us to build slowly, build around you, and then once you have a solid foundation, that's when you build up and you build out. So we'll see. I think this is a really great episode, man. It was fun to do. Another one we have on TikTok live here. It was fun to do, man. It was really good, and I enjoyed this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And if you're listening, it means that you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even Spotify, and we thank you for listening. If you're watching us, whether it is on TikTok Live or if you are watching us on YouTube, I need you to do these three things. I need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You see, the next time that you hop on YouTube and you're looking for something called Achromous podcast, we will be right at the top waiting for you. It'll be episode 113, and you will finally understand how you can build your business, not just online, but offline as well. And I really can't believe I'm saying this because we're talking about business, but we'll see. Most of all,
Yeah, don't worry. I got you. I got you. Hey, it's free to do so. Told you at the beginning of this episode, telling you folks that's on the live right now on TikTok, it's free to do so. It's free to give these gems out because we believe each and every single one of you out here matter. We all do. You're so damn worth it. And the way that you could show us some love and appreciation, as Jay mentioned so kindly, on YouTube by liking our content, turning on that notification bell, subscribing to it, please, and also sharing the content to somebody you care about. Again, because we're trying to reach you. We're trying to reach people like you. We want to make sure that you don't leave this world not knowing how damn worth it you were and how much you matter with the time you got here remaining. So if you can do those things, guys, we greatly appreciate it. We spread the message around, and we'll get more gems sent your way.
100%. We'll see. It's been real, guys. Another one on live, another episode. We have not missed one, and I don't think we ever will. We'll see. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to enjoy this week. I want you to go out in your business. If you have one now, keep building it. If you do not have one and you want to create one, start now. Start right when this episode is done and just keep building. We are all moving towards our purpose because we all matter and we're so damn worth it. So, as I said, until next Sunday, it's your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
And we'll see. Peace.